guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and I'm back with another reaction to Cloak and Dagger. We are at the season finale. Hard to believe it, but we're here. 10 awesome episodes. Well, I'm assuming that the finale is going to be great. But yeah, I saw on Twitter that a couple of people from like the Runaways cast and writing team were really impressed with the finale. So that gives me some very happy hopes. And maybe this means we're going to see some crossover action coming up next, maybe next season on the Runaways. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get into this finale first. So previous episode was pretty insane. We kind of in episode 8 had what seemed like the wrapping up of the storylines as far as the directional arc that Tyrone and Tandy were on. Tyrone wanting to finally bring, I think is his name, Connors to justice, and of course Tandy wanting to prove that her father had nothing to do with the explosion that basically ended his life, and not only that, but of course ended his career and then his professional reputation. So it seemed like everything should have been hunky-dory, but the theme of that episode kind of showed that both Tandy and Tyrone didn't exactly get the feeling that they thought they would after holding on to these grudges for so long and these goals of bringing people down for so long. But it turns out that obviously it wasn't as over as they thought it was. And towards the end of the last episode, whew, I can talk, I swear. They both had some major steps back for character. Like they got steps back in the way that they developed throughout the series, in the sense of course, I get a call. But then towards the end of the last episode, we saw that both Tyrone and Tandy got setbacks, not only in their character development, in the sense of kind of where they've been kind of growing together towards, kind of like Tyrone being a little bit more open and a little less heavy with all of the weight and the worry he had about his, trying to emulate Billy, and Tandy kind of learning to be less selfish and self-absorbed and actually starting to be a little bit more empathetic and caring towards other people. But since both of them did not get the outcome that they thought they would from getting the resolution to their problems, they both kind of took a step back character-wise. And so I am really curious as to where they're going to take us in this episode, and if they're going to leave us with another big cliffhanger, because at this point, we kind of have a case where, in the case of Connors, I feel like the only way out of this is for him to die, but I don't want Tyrone to be the person to do that. So anyways, I'm going into predictions. Only way I'm going to know if this ends is if I watch the episode. So I've done enough chatting. Let's get into the episode and we will chat about it later. Okay? Beep boop.
It wasn't fair. It wasn't anything resembling justice. It just was.
I like the representation of First Nations people here. Not enough of it on TV. There really isn't. What? Why? Jeez, that was dark. I did not expect
when
that.
She died, they say the land grew fertile again.
Wow, Tandy got curvy in this carving. Got a little Kardashian treatment.
That makes sense. He's a need-to-know kind of guy. And this, I'm assuming, is his need to clean up everyone who knows too much about that ring.
Don't step any closer. Tandy, what are you doing?
Right? She's like, girl, I am going to die.
I'm unarmed.
Woo, mama. Damn. Tandy's got some spice. So does a mama's under the table. Damn.
I gotta go.
Where are you going?
I need to go help some people.
Why you?
Because I kind of caused it? Whoops. Her mama's like, what is happening? I stay sober one day and look what happens. One day.
Tyrone, you need to run as far away as you can, as fast as you can, and never look back. You don't call us. You don't send us a postcard.
It's true.
You hear me?
Yes, sir.
No, I love the way this man holds that cloak. Thank you. Educate these fools. Tyrone gone. Daddy, I want to tell you, but I ain't got time. Look at this boy. Oh God, please tell me they didn't kill Mina. God damn.
There are 9 other valves spread out around the city by design.
No! Y'all, peace out to New Orleans. It's time to get the heck on out of here.
I'm feeling the pressure too. It's only a matter of time until they blow.
Bye.
What do we do to stop it?
We don't. We leave. Let's go. Let's go.
There may be a way to shut it off centrally. But we need to get to Roxxon. Of course we do.
Of course. Can we hurry up though? Because otherwise, rage zombies.
Fear bubbling just beneath the skin of this city. Greed bringing our worst instincts to the surface.
I don't understand how Tyrone and that girl can do anything about
Can
it.
you maybe get to the point because bad things is about to happen.
We need to remember our history.
Ain't nobody got time for metaphors and stories, girl.
I'm not any kind of killer. Mm-hmm. And Fuchs, I knew him for less than a day, and he's more cop than you'll ever be. You watch your mouth, boy. Don't call me boy.
Thank you.
My name is Tyrone. My parents pay taxes, and it's your job to protect me. If you're really 504, you know that.
Thank you. Woo!
With great power comes
Oh.
even more power.
Oh, thank you.
As an age, you need to keep up with the Joneses, as well as the Starks and Rands.
What we need to do is shut all of this down, which is why we're here. See, that wasn't so hard, was it?
Ooh, she gonna steal every happy memory you ever had, sir. Every last one. That last of the brownie your hair about to go gray as hell.
I want to be God.
Right through that door.
Okay, psycho. Ooh, Tandy, you naughty. But I approve this time. I fully approve because this guy, prig.
What's that guy on?
Wouldn't you like to know? Yes, touch him. Yes. Ma'am.
They didn't understand how a young maiden could end a war. How a little girl could stop the flame.
I'll work with you, Evita. Like, girl, can you please get to the point while I'm still a teenager?
It's like downtown, that's on the other side of the Mardi Gras mats and Stay behind me, okay?
Damn, these terrorists can shoot? Oh. I was about to say, they didn't seem like they were that calm. This is like The Walking Dead on steroids.
Hey! Come get me!
He shouldn't even be helping these fools. Tyrone's like, oh, damn. No!
Found himself running a clinic out of St. Teresa's church, giving everything he could to stem the tide against the plague.
Or get high so we didn't have to deal with it.
But when
Heroin.
his love
I think we lost.
I think you're right.
So what happens now?
Well, I can teleport. Peace.
The problem and fix it. Somehow.
How'd you get in here?
Same way it's on you to go up against it. No, I'm sorry. I wish I could do more to help you. I really do.
I just came to drop the bad news and dip. Later.
As in,
Is this the time? Oh, well, you might die, so I guess this is the time. Oh. I knew it would be Ty, though. I knew it.
You are Tyrone freaking Johnson. The baller lady killer.
Master of space, if not time, and you don't need a cloak for all of that.
Kind of does, though. It's part of the whole outfit.
Look, what if I do?
Well, you can use this.
Oh, his coat. It's my coat anyway, girl. You thief.
It was the first thing I ever stole.
Was it?
Why didn't you say anything about this before?
Because I needed it.
Where's my shoe?
Right up there.
Shh. Oh, y'all be yelling in the streets like they ain't things out there to kill y'all. Yes, let's go, TNT. T squared in the house. Grab Tandy and go. Grab Tandy and go. Okay, really? Yes. Sniping folks. Wait, where's Connors? Knew it.
Women qui plaît faveur. Remets-la avec vous.
Je ne comprends pas. Anglais, s'il vous plaît.
Devenu et s'étouffer.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Ha!
Yeah?
Oh, God. Duh.
No, she doesn't.
You should be.
Push him.
You should be very,
Very afraid.
very afraid.
He's not gonna stop, Ty. What? What? Huh? Tyrone's like, damn, I wish I paid attention in computer class. Okay. No, they both have the mark. Well then, this is confusing.
Exactly that.
It's right there. Every time we touch, I feel the static. Hold on. Oh, look at them. Yes, hold on. Hold on. Don't let go. Olympia! Oh God, died. Wow. Wait, are they still holding hands? Yes! That hurdle crossed. Finally. Yeah, let's pack that box away and put it in a place where we'll never find it again. Like a fireplace. Scarborough. Oh my, is he in the same mind prison Ivan? Oh, Tandy, you cold, girl. Oh, Tyrone has to live there now. Oh.
I didn't know you knew how to care.
I'm learning.
Shade. Now hug. Guess there's too much to ask. Connors? Where is he? Oh, hey, it's the bee. Too quiet. It's too quiet. Yes, O'Reilly! Oh, wait, are you still O'Reilly? What? Friend or foe? Wow, so that was the finale, guys, of Cloak and Dagger. And that episode was called Colony Collapse. And interesting, colony, that's what they call bees that are that are part of a hive. They will call them colonies. And we've had this since Mina's episode, first or second episode, I think. We've had a theme of the bees and the bee Arthur and all that kind of thing. So I'm assuming that they kind of were tying that whole theme into this episode. Kind of the idea, like, you know, again, if you think of the idea of a bee colony, there's the queen, of course. And then there are all, you know, the colonies all based on a hive. And basically, if you know, the whole history of bees, like once if the queen leaves the hive dies. I thought it was a really good kind of fitting illustration for this episode, right? All the terrors were kind of all sourced to, of course, the digging that Roxanne was doing, but it kind of makes me think that maybe Tandy and Tyrone are kind of the shared queen, if that makes sense. Like they're kind of the heart and source of this energy, and once they used it and channeled it out, the effects it was having on everyone dissipated as well. But again, as we just saw at the end there, Officer O'Reilly, she got hit with a direct blast of it right before she fell into the water, but it didn't affect her as a terror, right? It didn't, with all the other ones when they got it, they kind of got disoriented and they came up and they were all like immediately terrors. It didn't hit her the same, but I also wonder if she got hit with the same blast as everyone else. But we'll come to her in a minute. Where to begin? This was a very interesting ending. I'm glad it didn't really end on a super cliffy. I was gonna say not on a cliffy at all, but I guess whatever has happened to O'Reilly is a bit of a cliffhanger, and there are a lot of unanswered questions, but overall I think we got enough that we're not going to feel like we're going to have to hang on desperately for answers until season 2. But let's see what we can take away from this particular episode. I feel like story-wise we actually didn't have a whole lot happen, and that's not a bad thing per se, because we had so much happen leading up to this episode that I don't feel like we needed to do a whole lot of storytelling or character development anymore in this particular episode. It was more about kind of tying up that final storyline that the voodoo auntie was saying about how there was a storm coming or something was about to happen and it had to be stopped. But as far as the character development and where we're going with Tyrone and Tandy, I feel like we kind of had that all kind of come to a conclusion in the last episode. The biggest thing I think that we got from both Tyrone and Tandy in this episode is that even though they had their regression in the last episode with the knockbacks of not having the justice that they thought they were going to get, or not getting the same feeling of closures they perhaps thought they were going to get from those events ending, they were still able to come back and be who they truly are in this episode, right? Because last episode it looked like Tyrone was kind of going back into his despondent self, and he was going to shell back up and bring all that anger and hatred back and kind of be that kid again. And then we saw Tandy trying to turn back to being the addicted, man using, I hurt everybody sort of person. And obviously not great places. Both of them are kind of coming from very broken places throughout this series. But in this episode, we saw that when push came down to shove, when the world started to kind of go, where I shouldn't say that, where the things that they cared about most were threatened. In Tandy's case, her mom being directly threatened. And as problematic as things have been with her and her mother, it's still her mom. And at the idea that she could lose her, that's when Tandy was like, oh, hell no. Like, this isn't going down. I'm going to do what I have to do. And thankfully, her grifting skills really came on well in this episode. She was able to kind of psych out the hit woman just long enough to buy some time. And I thought it was I felt like her mom, though, Tandy's mom, was kind of useless in this episode because, yeah, like Tandy really didn't explain a lot. She didn't really give her mom a lot to go on. She just kind of left her all lost and confused. It was like, I gotta go save the world and do stuff, hang out here, sorry people are trying to kill you, talk about that later, peace. Like, I was like, whoa, Tandy. I mean, I know she didn't have a lot of time, but it just kind of felt very weird. I almost feel like we didn't need, I obviously we needed the scene because that's what kicked Tandy into high gear, to realize that she had to fix her mess, and also that she does care. She cares about her mom, she cares about New Orleans, she cares about other people. So but it just was funny. I just thought the whole scene with her mom just felt so strange because her mom was just like, how? I just had a gun to my, you're leaving, all right. But yes, we saw Tandy's growth in that regard, and then of course wanting to go and protect Mina, because she realized, okay, if what I did affected me this way, then Scarborough's gonna go after everybody who could have potentially been a part of this. So the fact that she went to try to help Mina after everything, even though she took her happiness from her and was very petty with her, that shows again that that's not the real Tandy. The real Tandy actually is empathetic and does care about people. She just needs to just shrug off all that anger and that resentment she feels towards the world to kind of channel it. So, and then also to turn around and see Tyrone. I mean, he's always been a hard guy. Like, I think last episode it was more frustration. He didn't really take as much of a step back as Tandy did, but him kind of shrugging off the self-pity as soon as he saw that the terrors were happening and that there was going to be a bigger problem, like all that mattered to him was protecting people. And I thought that was so huge. Okay, well while we're talking about Tyrone's story, let's just touch lightly on the deep topic that they went into with the cops and obviously the illegal arrest that they used to get Tyrone and O'Reilly. And this was seeing how this whole thing is gone. This season's definitely touched on and kind of danced and skirted around the whole cops versus young black men issue that we all know is a very big deal in the States at the moment. But I'm glad that I think the show's done a really good job with, like I said in the last episode, just communicating both sides of what's going on here, because it is such a really touchy and very raw subject. But the reality is, as O'Reilly brought out, not all cops can be lumped into the same category. There are some that unfortunately don't take the serve and protect part of their job very well, but there are a lot of them that do, and it's sad that they're all kind of put into the same category. But conversely, Tyrone kind of going and talking to that cop, that whole conversation he said to that cop, like, I understand the pressure there is for you to fit in with your fellow peers and the pressure that there is for you to support your fellow law enforcement, but you have to know within yourself where the line is and what's right, what's morally right, and what you can live with. And it takes a lot of strength to go against the grain, and go against what's around you, and go with what actually is in your gut, and make a change, make a stand or not do something wrong. And it's sad that cop in the end kind of ended up skirting, like he saw the other cop came in, he was like, oh, thank God, I don't have to deal with this now. It showed a lot about how I think it just was a very positive way, I think, to deal with that dialogue. because, you know, we do need law enforcement. No matter where you are, law enforcement's what helps us to be safe and to have some level of peace wherever we live. And as I said before, unfortunately, there are bad elements in it, but it's not something that we should be still painting all people who don that badge and that uniform under the same brush. You know, Connors is a special kind of disgusting, and I hope that he's been sucked into the deepest vortexes of the dark dimension, but you know, not all of the cops are like that. And what I really like about the fact that Tyrone stuck around and helped these police officers, I mean, he had more reason than anyone to be like, you guys deal with this, deuces, right? Because he didn't have to deal with it. Tyrone could have teleported himself to the Bahamas and just been like, y'all deal with that. But he was like, no, this is my city. I know there's innocent people in here. I can't just let them, you know, if I can help, I have to do it. And again, it just proves, and I love, you know, watching O'Reilly, watching Tyrone this whole episode. She's just in awe. She's like, this kid is such a good kid. He has no reason to be nice to cops. He has no reason to trust cops. He has no reason to be empathetic to these people who have represented so much pain in his life, and yet that's not the person he is. So I think it's just a great example overall. I think the show did a really good job of, like I said, this is a very touchy and sensitive topic, and there's a lot of very strong viewpoints, but I think the show did a really good job of dealing with it realistically, but also keeping it in a place where there's like a positive outcome and not just a, you know, down with you or down with you sort of mentality, because that doesn't help anybody in the greater scheme. So, but also the fact that now that Tyrone was seen by the cops that weren't affected, that he stuck around and that he helped and that he did things to help them stay safe, that even if Connors was still around, which I have no idea if he's coming back, that would serve to put a big wedge, I think, between his little lackeys and Connors, because they'll be like, dude, you dipped. You ran away when things got hard. This kid who has no reason to like us or do it, we were gonna kill this kid and he saved us. Like, nah, you know, nah. That whole scenario I thought was really, really cool. But it just kind of went through and showed that Tyrone, again, that inner hero that he is, whether he wants to be or not, it's in there. He always wants to help people. He's always trying to make things better. And it was cool to see him take that step back into himself from what we saw in the last episode. As far as everything else with the terrors and the whole idea that, I guess the question is, now that we know that Tyrone and Tandy can actually channel this energy and get it out away, as far as the negative side effects, it does make me wonder kind of where we're going to go from here on out, because Roxxon still clearly wants this substance. Scarborough confirmed for us that they're extracting it sounds like more for a weapon than it is for energy. Like, I guess obviously they knew about what happened to the people who were affected. And again, I don't know if they knew that they were terrors, so to speak, but I think they knew that whatever this gas was, it had an adverse effect on these people, and they wanted to know more about it. So now that they know that this substance exists and the effects, is Roxxon gonna walk away? And if not, like, if they, well, thankfully no one knows how this energy got dispelled, but it does make me wonder kind of where they're gonna go with this in season 2, as far as like how Roxxon's gonna handle it, because Scarborough's out of the picture, which, oh my God, whew, Tandy. That was ruthless. That was ruthless. I mean, Scarborough deserved it, but still, like, that's special. Like, I mean, just taking his hopes away would have been one thing, but she trapped that man in his own mind. And her and Tyrone are the only ones who can get him out. Like, that's so mean. That is really next level punishment. Like, do not cross Tandy, y'all. She's got a mean streak in her that runs deep, deep, yo. Even Tyrone, I don't think would have done that. Although, okay, I keep bringing it up, but I gotta know, for those of you out there who read the comics, can you please tell me, is Connors in, what is it called? The dark dimension, the dark portal? I can't remember exactly what the area is that the cloak pulls Tyrone through when he teleports, but is that where Connors is? Can people live in there that are not Tyrone? Does it do anything to them? Like, because that whole thing was clearly not, it didn't seem like it came from Tyrone, but maybe it did, because we all know that deep down Tyrone's got a few deep, dark moments of his own. We all know he's got a little dark streak too, but it seemed like the cloak acted of its own volition, because Tyrone had no idea what was happening to Connors. But I'm wondering, it didn't look like it killed him, so where is he? And can he reappear? Will he reappear? I don't know. I think it's very I just feel like the show wanted us to understand that Connors is not dead. And so why that is and will we see him next season and how he'll be, I'm just very curious. If those of you who've read the comics, if you have any idea or theories on that, please leave in the comments below because I'm very, very interested to know and speculate on what's going on there. But basically, that's kind of all that really happened in this episode. We didn't really have, as I said, a lot more character development or movement because I feel like they built all that up in all the episodes coming up to this one. It really was more about, I think, Tyrone owning the fact that, well, he's not quite there yet. I think the speech that Tandy gave him at the end to basically tell him that, you know, he didn't need the cloak to actually, like, the power is in him. Like, he's teleported before without the cloak. But in the end, she was like, okay, fine. Like, if you need some form of a security blanket to kind of give you, like, confidence, then fine, take this jacket. But I don't think you need it. And I like the fact that she's kind of trying to push Tyrone to be a little bit more within himself. And I think that's been something that Tyrone struggled with the entire season, is that, you know, we've heard him say over and over again that he's trying to be like Billy. He's trying to make up for the fact that there's, you know, there's only one Johnson boy and not two of them. And that's not a burden that anybody should ever carry. And, you know, he's got that survivor's guilt going on. And I love that Tandy was kind of like, you need to come into your own, Tyrone. Like, you are you. You're strong. You're smart. You are a hero in the sense of that you're always trying to help other people. Like, you have your own thing and you should be proud of it and you should stand in it. Because once you do that, this kind of, you know, the lack of assurance and the self-doubt and all those other things, they'll start to dissipate because he's trying to be something he's not, which is Billy. Billy was Billy. So that's something that, you know, I like that Tandy kind of came at him at the end and was like, you need to figure this out and be bold because I need you to be that person. And hopefully that's something that Tandy can give to him, you know, maybe help him to stand in himself. Because Tandy, for as messed up as she is, she's very sure of who she is. She's actually very confident. And so I want that to rub off on Tyrone because he does need to kind of become confident within himself, especially now that he's going to have to be a little bit self-sufficient, I guess, while this whole cop thing is happening going into next season, since this APB is still out and Connors is going to be at large. As far as Tandy, I like the fact that she seems to be accepting that she's a little bit of a softie. I mean, I've been saying it all season that I want to like her and I know she's got it in her to be a good person, but she just keeps doing these things to make it difficult. So I'm really glad that she's seemingly finding that comfort with being vulnerable and that just admitting the fact that she does care about her mom. She does care about Tyrone. I love that she was like, you're not going down for this by yourself. Because Tandy in episode 1 or 2 probably would have been like, well, thanks, Tyrone, I'm gonna go. But I'm glad that she was like, no, if we're doing this, we're doing it together. I'm not gonna be able to live with you sacrificing your life for the both of us. And it looks like whatever that energy distillation was, they can touch now. It looks like they can touch now. So that was a big hurdle the entire season, but I'm okay with it. I said it earlier in the season that I think they were using it as a plot device to slow down the romantic progression of Tyrone and Tandy, and I'm okay with that because it's only season 1. And they're teenagers. They don't necessarily be thrown into a deep relationship right off the bat, especially considering that they both have so much emotional baggage. I'd much rather them become really good friends and understand each other there and kind of make each other better in the way that in supporting each other first before they kind of get the complications that romance brings. But it's very clear that they, you know, I think we've already seen that they like each other. They definitely know that I think they both know that they like each other, but it's cool, it's chill right now, and I'm all right with that. But I feel like in season 2, we're gonna see that heat on that get turned up a little bit clearly now that they can touch. Now that they can touch, have their powers changed? Have they increased now that they've gotten their second hit of whatever that energy source is, and they got a big old hit? Like Tandy was holding that dagger up like Hercules holding up that ring to Olympus. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, we saw a lot of that dark energy channeling through Tyrone. So the first time they got it was like a big old blast, and this was like a volcano of it going through them. So I'm wondering if we're going to see some changes, maybe some level ups to their powers next season, now that they've both gotten a big old like fat dose of it. And now that Mina kind of knows what's going on, and I'm assuming she's alive, so she's going to be able to be around for season 2. I'm curious if she's going to be able to figure out more about their powers and, I don't know, maybe ways to channel or make them better. And then, of course, as I said, as I brought up at the beginning of this review, the big question is what's going on with O'Reilly? She got that blast of energy. It didn't seem to affect her the same way it did the tears, but it clearly has affected her. She looks like she's got some kind of super speed going on, but it also looks like she's not right in the head. So my hope is that it's something that's fixable, because I like O'Reilly and I don't want her to end up having to be a villain, but it would be a very interesting twist for season 2 to see Tyrone and Tandy have to treat her as a villain until they figure out how to fix her, just in a storytelling point of way. But I do want her to be fixed. I don't want her to have to get killed. That would be really sad, because she's cool and we need a good cop in the New Orleans department that is not under the influence of whoever the heck is at the source of all the crime, which we still didn't find out this season. So that's something I'm hoping we'll get the answers to in season 2, because they kind of left that whole mystery person, that storyline kind of fell to the wayside in this season, and that's okay, because we had a lot going on. So yeah, all in all, my whole grade for this season is an A. I think it was a great new addition to the Marvel Universe. They name dropped in this episode. I almost forgot. They mentioned the Starks and the Rands. So I like that shout out. Maybe they're indicating that we might eventually get a little bit more of an inclusive universe. I don't know. I shudder to think. I would love it. I would love if all these shows could somehow touch that are not necessarily on the same networks, but that's probably like 10 years down the line. But yeah, I love it. I think it was a really good show. I mentioned in the beginning of this video that some of the actors from Runaways were sure to tweet and make some comments about this and hint at potentially a crossover. So I am very excited for that. I feel like we're going to get a little something in season 2 of Runaways, so I'm happy about that. But it was great. I think it was well casted. I think it was well acted. I think the pacing of the show is really good. I've said throughout the series, they've done a really good job of marrying, having the lower budget and not being able to go special effects heavy with really good storytelling and symbolism and just character development. Like, they really made it feel like a nice full season without having to throw a lot of special effects our way. And that is an art form, and I think they did it brilliantly. So great season. We're really looking forward to season 2. I know it's a long ways away, but I thought this was super entertaining in the meantime. What did you guys think of this season? How did you feel about it? Do you think this is a good show, or do you feel like, you've seen better? And are you looking forward to potentially seeing a crossover with this show and maybe Runaways coming up in Runaways season 2? Is there anything that really irked you this season? Anything you feel like it was missed or that they got incorrect? Any of that kind of cool stuff, please leave it below. Let's hash it out. Let's have one last hurrah over this really great show. Thank you so much for watching this season along with me, guys. And if you like this video, please click like. And if you want to see more from this geeky face, please click subscribe. Until next time,